Welcome to Salute to the Ears, where my family and I discuss everything Disney, from parks, food, and rides to travel tips, movies, and more. Hey everyone, welcome to Salute to the Ears. I'm your host, Jeremy Simon. This week I am riding solo by myself, and I'm going to deliver some news of some questions I've been getting recently, of some recent things that Disney has just kind of broke to us. First off, we get a perk. We get a perk back. It's not much of one, it's barely one at all, but if you're staying at a resort, you get 30 minutes early access to all the parks. Yeah, it's 30 minutes. You might be able to get a ride, maybe two in, depending on where you're going and how spread out they are. But they've already been letting people in early anyway, and the rides have already been going about 30 minutes beforehand. So, don't really know how much of a perk this one is. But they had to give us a little something because they broke news that a big perk of staying on the resorts is going away. Now, if you're driving to the resorts or you live close by, this isn't a big deal for you. But for like my family and I and everybody else who flies down there, if you're not renting a car, this is big news. So Disney announced that their Magical Express, their buses going from Orlando Airport down to the resorts, is going away starting 2022. Now this is big because this was free transportation going from the airport to the resorts, and they haven't announced anything else official that's going to take its place. I don't know if this is just a cost-cutting reason for doing this or what's behind it. Disney did not own the Magical Express. They were leasing that out with Mears Transportation. Mears Transportation didn't find out this was going away until the same morning that all of us found out. They put out a statement saying that they're going to still offer transportation going from the airport to the resorts, but my guess is it's probably going to cost. Don't know how much it's going to cost, but it will cost. Disney decided that due to less people coming, the fact that COVID has really kind of hampered their budget a little bit, and more people using share riding, using Uber, using Lyft, and renting cars while they're coming down has just it has decreased the need for it, so they're going to cancel it starting 2022. Now, why are they doing this? I think there could be a few reasons. I'm just kind of brainstorming. These are all my own thoughts. Talked to Erica, these are some of hers, and some of the rumors I've kind of seen floating around. I don't know what the truth is right now. Nobody does. But my guess is Disney has a plan. They just haven't let us know yet. I think Disney has a plan for a lot of things, which I will get to here later on. But let's just start off with my initial thoughts of why Magical Express may be going away. So like I was saying, they've been leasing these buses from Mears, and it's Mears drivers, Mears Transportation buses, so Disney's paying for that space, and they're paying for the space at the airport to set up the lines in order for this transportation. So one of the reasons could be that they want to stop leasing and create their own transportation line. It could be anything from you have personalized vans picking you up and taking you to your resort, having their own buses do it, buses that they own that aren't leased through Mears. It could be any number of four-wheel or bus type vehicles taking you down there. Maybe something that's a little more cost effective because the buses have not been full, and they may not be full in the future. And the big reason is there's going to be a high-speed train going from the Orlando Airport with a stop at Disney Springs. Now, this could be a reason why this is going away in 22, because this is when that line is supposed to be finished. That would be kind of inconvenient grabbing your luggage, going to the train, hauling your luggage, getting off at Disney Springs, and then hopping on a bus there with your luggage over to your resort. So they would have to do a couple things here, I think. It's either go back to having a luggage service at the airport that's picking up your bags, and it's meeting you at your resort, which I think would probably be the most likely. I think that'd be easy for them to do. They wouldn't have to lease out so many buses at that. They could just have basically moving trucks, box trucks that are picking up luggage for different resorts throughout the day and going back and forth, which would be fairly inexpensive for Disney to do. Or they could also just have that luggage service at Disney Springs. So you get off the train with your luggage. There's somebody there from each resort, bell services from each resort, there to get your luggage, and they take it over there, and then you can go to the parks, you can go shopping at Disney Springs, or you can just head over to your resort and your luggage will meet you over there. They would probably have to do one of those two things because it would be very inconvenient getting on the buses at Disney Springs with multiple bags, especially if you're a big family. And if it goes back to like peak like it was, those buses are pretty crowded anyway, and then having to deal with your luggage and maybe strollers and small kids and big families, and it would be a pain. So I don't think there's any way that you could bring your luggage onto those buses going from Disney Springs to your resort. Disney could also just be trying to look for a way to save some money. Like I said, all these leases that they're doing are adding up, especially when these buses aren't full. And then it could also be that they're trying to save money because the space that they're leasing out at the airport is expensive. I think this is probably the least likely of the things that I've seen, but it is one that I've seen brought up a couple of different times, that they're paying Orlando a whole lot of money to use this space at the bottom of the airport. Either way, however they go and do this, whether it's their own transportation line or what they're doing, they're going to have some kind of space at the airport, I think, in order to make this all work. Just maybe not quite as much space as what they're using now. Once they announce this is just the last part of the one of the many perks that we've lost so far since COVID. We've lost the Magical Express, we've lost early magic hours, we've lost free magic bands, we've lost Fast Pass, Resort Airline Check-In, and the Disney Dining Plan. So that's several things that you get for staying at the resorts. So right now, starting in 2022, other than free transportation around to all the parks, there really isn't a whole lot of perks to staying on property. And I and Erica are both huge advocates for staying in that Disney bubble, staying on the parks. We love it, but it may be more cost effective to stay off property in a nice hotel, which may be even nicer than most of the moderates that we've stayed in, and rent a car and drive back and forth. It may be something to think about. You may have to crunch those numbers, because right now there's not a whole lot of perks to staying there on property. Now, I think what's going to happen is, as we start seeing some of these COVID numbers start coming down, we're going to start seeing more plans for what's going to happen in the end of 2021 and 2022. Hopefully by then, these numbers are coming down. I think once these numbers start to come down, we're going to start seeing some of these perks come back. Now, they may not be coming back as we expect them to. I think Disney's going to use this opportunity with COVID to kind of reset some of these things, kind of like what they're doing with Magical Express. It's going to be a way for them to, in the future, be able to continue to service, but try to find a more cost-effective way to do this. Bob Chapek, who is running the whole thing now, is a businessman at heart, and he's looking at the bottom dollar and ways that we can save money, or Disney can save money from how they've been doing things in the past. And Magical Express and some of these other ones may be ways that they can save money, especially right now when they're struggling. I shouldn't say struggling, not like you and I struggle, but they're below their line of what they want to be because not all the parks are open. So I think they're going to take this opportunity to reset, kind of relook at how they're doing some things, because once all these parks open back up, like right now Disneyland's not open. Some of the other ones overseas have been open and closed and open and closed, and so they're not making nearly as much money. They haven't made as much money off the movies. Disney Plus is what's been saving them, and the fact that people are still going back down to Disney World is helpful too. Once I think Disneyland and all the parks are open for a little bit, or it looks like they're going to open and stay open, then I think we're going to start seeing some of these perks come back. Like I think they're going to announce something for Magical Express. Free Magic Bands are gone. They're not coming back. It's Magic Bands they're gonna be around. You're still gonna be able to use them, but they have a new app that's supposed to be coming out called Disney Genie, which is really what they want people to start using on their smartphones. It's supposed to be super advanced, and it might be something to do a good episode on here in the future once we figure out more of a timeline of when it's supposed to come out. It was already supposed to be coming out or out by now, and it's supposed to be more interactive and help you with your trip to make it as convenient as possible for you to avoid crowds and get as much done as you want to get done. Fast passes are going to come back, but they can't come back until they can have both lines going, and the lines can go back inside the buildings and kind of weave back and forth like they have been. That said, Fast Pass is not going to come back like it was. It's going to have to be some kind of system. I think it's going to be something that's like over in Disneyland or Universal, where we're probably going to have to pay for them. So I think what they could do is, if you're just not a resort guest, but a park guest, and you're coming in, you may be able to buy like 3 of them for the day or whatever. If you're staying at the resorts, I got a feeling what's probably going to happen is you're probably going to be given so many fast passes for whatever level of hotel you're staying at. Say 2 for a value and 3 for a moderate and 4 for a deluxe. And then you have the opportunity to buy more from there. They got to find a way to regulate Fast Pass, because Fast Pass lines were getting to the point to where they were so long, they're almost taking as long as the standby lines in some instances. So they got to find a way to regulate it so not everybody has a Fast Pass for like 7 Dwarfs and you're still waiting 45 minutes in line to get on 7 Dwarfs. Or find a way so that a Fast Pass is truly a Fast Pass again. Or that they may just go to kind of like virtual boarding passes or virtual boarding groups for some of these bigger rides, so that it acts like a Fast Pass, but it's not the exact same thing. Fast Pass as we know it is probably gone, and it will come back. It'll come back in some form, but not like what it was. Dining Plan will come back. Dining Plan will come back because that makes Disney a whole lot of money. That's one of those things, even when all the restaurants are open, you still have to kind of crunch the numbers to see if it's beneficial for you or what you want to do. Like my family, we like to use it because we like having it all paid for before we get down there, and then we tend to actually eat at nicer restaurants than what we would if we were just going down there and kind of paying for it as we go. Then we get to go down there, enjoy some of these nicer restaurants, but right now you can't do that because not all the restaurants are open. So until they can get capacity back up and more people into some of these restaurants and more of these restaurants open, it makes no sense to have the dining plan, because too many people would be trying to get into restaurants and not being able to use their whole dining plan and probably wanting refunds. Some of the other things like resort airline check-in, that may come back at some point. I guess it's going to kind of depend on transportation from the resorts to the airport and how that's going to work. And once they can start getting all the cast members back working there. Some of the other perks that we have lost, let's see. The extra magic hours. If you didn't know, they had times before and after or before they opened and after they closed. Usually a good hour or two, to where if you were a resort guest you kind of had to run of that park or whatever park was open for extra magic hours that day. I know for me personally, loved it. Not this last trip, but the one before. Jackson and I got up at and got to Hollywood Studios at 7 a.m. or maybe even, I think it's probably about 7 a.m. And we ran around for an hour or two, and we got in a good chunk of the rides. We rode Rock and Roller Coaster multiple times, and Tower of Terror, and Star Tours, and Smuggler's Run, and Toy Story Mania, and we did all this stuff before we went back and ate breakfast and got everybody else before the park officially opened. So, extra magic hours are one of my favorite things. I really love the nighttime ones because nighttime in the parks it just feels extra magical to me. I love the lights on, especially Magic Kingdom. I love so many of the rides at night. I really hope they bring this back. I think this would be a good way to add a perk for resort guests. I don't think they're doing it right now just because they don't necessarily have enough cast members to do it. I think they could bring back more cast members to do it, but then you're talking about paying out more money, and I don't know how much more they're going to increase capacity. So this may not be something we see until closer to the end of 2021, whenever they really start pushing the 50th anniversary stuff in October. I don't know, that's just my gut feeling, is they're going to want to try to be as close to 100% capacity whenever those times come, and then hopefully extra magic hours will be back for some of the resorts. And then, let's see, I think that was pretty much it for the perks that we've lost. We've lost some other ones, like just getting stuff shipped back to your resort. I think that'll come back too once numbers start coming back up and more cast members are there able to do some of this stuff. So we've lost a lot. Right now there's not a whole lot of perks to staying on the resort, and I think that's kind of by design. It's that way they can kind of still control how many people are there. They want people to come. They need people to come. But at the same time, they're not doing a whole lot to really say, hey, please come. It seems like the ones who are going right now aren't people who are going for their once-in-a-lifetime trip. It's the people who I haven't been in a year, and I seem to go every year or 2 years, and I'm really craving going. I miss the magic. I need some magic after this horrible year of 2020. And so those seem to be the people that are going, that are really going down and just enjoying what is there instead of really looking for the full magic. I think what's going to happen is they're kind of setting us up to pay for some of these services we've taken for granted. And once they've been away, and they've been away for a little bit, we're going to be more willing to pay for them, whether it's Fast Passes, or Magical Express, or extra magic hours, or whatever it is. If we have to pay a little bit extra for it, it's a little bit easier for them to sell it to us now like that, rather than going straight from free to you got to pay starting this date. It's if we don't have them, then they can bring them back, make us pay for them, and they can make some more money, which unfortunately Disney is a business, so they are still looking to take as much money as possible. I don't know if that's going to happen. It's just kind of my gut feeling. They're just kind of looking away to make some more money, and when it comes back, it's not going to be back like we remember it. Disney is going to forever be changed. They've been looking for ways to reset a lot of these things, whether it was trying to find a way to get rid of free dining or Fast Passes at Disney World the way it's set up, and they wanted to get more towards the way it is at Disneyland or Universal where you had to pay for them. I think that's what's going to happen. I hope not, but it's going to forever be changed, just like a lot of things in this country are forever going to be changed now. So let me know what you think. Feel free to hit us up. Follow us at Twitter and Instagram at Salute to the Ears. You can download this podcast at Spotify, Stitcher, Google, Simplecast. Please do it. Please help us grow this thing. And as always, go out, find your joy, and have a magical week.